uninteroperable situations where radio communications are simply very difficult and very problematic to achieve. And so many people don't understand this that haven't been in the industry as to what we've actually been dealing with for a very long time, in excess of 20 plus years. So the situation, in my opinion, cannot continue to be allowed to go on. We must have a mechanism in place where we can tactically pause and re-steer the ship towards an interoperable situation and stopping the uninteroperable situations. And that's what this bill attempts to do in its entirety. It's very simple. It's not retroactive. I'm sure there are many things. It's not designed to cost any money. It's simply a direction, policy change, law change to start making everyone look towards an interoperable situation and stopping uninteroperable situations. So it's a monumental change in way we've done business, because we've actually allowed this to happen. We've actually allowed an uninteroperable situation to happen. And so when we allow this to happen, if we don't stop that, we're always going to have it. So this is the first attempt, really, along with House Bill 3 from Chairman King. This is a complement to that. The council may become involved in this. You know, I know there's a lot of ideas about this, but the fundamental part is if we don't tactically pause radio communications and re-steer everyone back towards an interoperable situation or an operable situation, then we're going to continue to bleed. So, thank you, Chairman.
Members, any questions for Representative Lauterbach? Representative Riddell.
Sorry, I'm always the guy with questions.
Sure.
I think I understand the bill. So basically what this is saying, I know it says political subdivision. What we're really focusing on is fire departments, EMS, and police, law enforcement. And basically it's to create a standard that the governor's office would set, and you would not be able to basically purchase radio systems outside of what that is approved for by the governor's office. Would that be correct?
That's correct. We're asking for a tactical pause. If an application comes into the governor's office for a new radio system, let's make sure that that system is not going to make an uninteroperable situation with your adjoining counties. So we simply start stopping the things which are causing the problem and start moving in the direction where we can solve it.
I appreciate it. I like that. Thank you.
Members, any other questions? Chair hearing none. We don't have anyone signed up to testify, but is there anyone willing to testify on for or against House Bill 149? Chair hearing none, recognizes Representative Lauterbach to close.
Thank you, Chairman, for listening to this. I believe if we'll take a look at this bill, this could be a monumental sea change for public safety in our state. And with that, I close.
It's Chair's intent to leave House Bill 149 pending. Is there any objection? Chair hears none. House Bill 149 will be left pending. This time, Chair lays out House Bill 164 and recognizes Representative Riddell to explain the bill.
Thank you, Chairman. Appreciate it. Get prepared here real quick. I got a short cord on my mic. I apologize. So I normally, most bills that I follow are usually my ideas. This one was actually a bill that was designed from a constituent within Kerr County, and they're watching their neighbors go through this situation right now. So what House Bill 164 is doing is it's establishing a Texas flood recovery and reimbursement and reconstruction program for targeted and fiscally responsible relief impacted by July 2025 Hill Country. So that's one thing I will point out, is this is focused on the Hill Country. It's reimbursement of real and personal property losses and incentives for repairs and constructions. It offers an online application feature, provides for a review process for approving or denying. And if you get a chance to look at the bill, it's pretty extensive, and I think it's very clear on who is eligible and who isn't eligible. So those that are eligible, it's a person that's domiciled in the state, owns real property that sustained flood damage, this is an important part, maintained residential or commercial insurance coverage other than flood insurance at the time, and the insurer or FEMA wholly or partially denied person's property. it would require that within 15 days that they request to participate in this. There is an extension exemption in there if it need be, but it would basically allow if your insurance or FEMA didn't assist in the way that you needed, you're able to go and apply for that assistance. It has a very low fiscal note in comparison to what we spend in our Texas budget of about $11 million. And priorities given, there is a priority section in here. Priorities given to those applicants' primary place of residence or small business was denied. Those applicants that are non-primary residents or other family-owned property was denied. And then those applicants who paid flood damage claimed equal amounts less than 50% of the applicant's total loss. And it has an expedited section in it, and it's funded by legislative appropriations to the division and from gifts, grants, and donations.
Members, any questions for Representative Riddell? Not, we'll go ahead and reserve your right to close in. This time, Chair calls up Brennan Griffin, Dr. Laura Presley, Cyrus Reed, and Kenneth Flippin. If you could please state your name, who you represent, and your position on the bill for the record.
My name is Brennan Griffin. I'm on behalf of Texas Appleseed on the bill.
Dr. Laura Presley for the bill, and I have a handout. Should I give it to you, Representative Riddell? Hand these out. Okay.
Kenneth Flippin, Texas chapter of U.S. Green Building Council, and Cyrus asked me to say he's covering another bill, but he also wanted to express his strong support.
Record shows we have Brennan Griffin. And you're Brennan Griffin, you're testifying on behalf of Texas Appleseed, and you are neutral on the bill, is that correct?
That's correct.
Please proceed.
Hi, thank you to the chair and committee for this opportunity to speak. I'm Brennan Griffin, the Senior Deputy Director for Texas Appleseed. We are a nonpartisan, research-driven organization working at the intersection of advocacy, policy, and the law to improve the lives of Texans. We think that this is a really promising start for for housing recovery in Texas. We think it's really important to have a longer-term plan to rebuild housing for all disasters, but this one in particular. I think the reasons we are basically FEMA only does a minimal amount for rebuilding. It's only to make your house minimally habitable. There are federal funds that sometimes come along in the form of community development block grants for disaster recovery, but those are not a permanent appropriation from Congress and often come years later. And so there's no real housing recovery program, and if you're unable to afford to rebuild, you're going to face some severe problems. The reason we're neutral and not for this bill, I think, is the main concern. We have a couple concerns, but the main one is really we are seeing for this particular disaster, we're watching the data on FEMA applications in real time, and we're seeing that over half of homeowners who are putting in FEMA applications have no insurance, and so we have a lot of elderly people, so maybe their houses are paid off. We've also seen Texas Department of Insurance has shown that we've got 40% increases over the last few years in home insurance, so it's becoming more and more unaffordable. So we really think that there needs to be a provision for people who were uninsured, did not have home insurance. We also are.
Thank you for your testimony.
Thank you.
Members, are questions of this witness? Seeing none, thank you for being here. Record shows we have Dr. Laura Presley. You're Dr. Laura Presley. You're testifying on behalf of Texas Disaster Relief Transparency Group, and you're for the bill, correct?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Please proceed.
Thank you. Representative Verdell, we love the bill, and what I really, really like about it, it's got a very consistent process. It's defined, the timelines are set, and it has transparency. This is ultra critical, and these people that were affected by this in Kerr County and across, other counties also, I would like you to consider outside, just not Kerr, but other counties also. What I have before you, I handed this out. We have formed the Texas Disaster Relief Transparency Group because there's been millions, hundreds of millions of dollars donated for flood victims. And these organizations have a lot of good intentions and they're doing good work. We decided to put together a transparency scorecard, and this goes directly to your bill, Representative Verdell, of why this is needed, because the public funds, to be quite honest, are not transparent to how much has been donated, how much has been received, how much has been dispersed, how much is going to individuals, how much is going to businesses. And so I want to kind of walk through a couple of these items on the scorecard. There's 10 items, and we've got the score on the right out of 10. For example, the Community Foundation of the Texas Hill Country, the Rebuild Kerr Fund, has donations have been received over $100 million. They will not report exactly how much has been donated. I've worked with them for a month on this, and emails and their website not having it. They've given out, they've shown what they've been dispersed. They do not show what donations are remaining. About less than 4% have gone to individuals, and 10% of the funds went to rapid disbursement. And we're now after that, where 90% of the funds were not dispersed in the first 30 days.
Thank you for your testimony, Dr.
Thank
Presley.
you.
Members, there are questions? Mr. Wilson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dr. Presley, thank you for being here today and provide this is a pretty good roll up of all those entities that are accepting donations and of course distributing donations. Can you expand a little bit in terms of the transparency score piece across the top?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I will. We're not making any judgments of are they making right decisions. That's not the point of the transparency. Just the transparency is the issue. Are they documenting and allowing the public to know what's been received and what's going out? So you've got one column, the donations received. Are they transparent about how much has been received? The total donations that have been dispersed, the rapid disbursement within the first 30 days, and then after that, how much of the donations that are still remaining to be dispersed, and what their future plans are, the percent of the funds that went to individuals, the percent of the funds that have gone to businesses, the percent of the funds that went to first responders, and the percent of the funds that went to a government entity. And then a scorecard out of those 10. And basically are they reporting in these categories? And it's really surprising. You've got a lot of red. Red means they're not being transparent. They will not produce the information. Some of the funds or the organizations or GoFundMe, which have no transparency whatsoever. And so I just want to highlight and underscore why this bill by Representative Verdell is so important. We've got a lot of public things going on, but we need a government program. And I'm a conservative, and I'm saying this, it's hard to believe, but you look at the data. Look at the data, why we need this. And I'm grateful, Representative Verdell, for this, and we're here for questions. And this will be a continuous process. We will update the committee on this, and these organizations have been told that we would be doing this report to you, and we would be reporting this to the public, because I think we need transparency with regard to where these funds are, where they're going, and the timeline and the distributions. And I'm here for questions.
Thank you.
Okay. Members, other questions? No? Yes?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much, Dr.
Thank you.
Presley. Cyrus Reed. I don't see Cyrus. We're going to show Cyrus Reed was here on behalf of the Lone Star chapter of Sierra Club, for the bill, not testifying. Record shows we have Kenneth Flippin. You're Kenneth Flippin, you're testifying on behalf of Texas chapter of U.S. Green Building Council and yourself, and you're for the bill, is that correct?
That's correct.
Please proceed.
Again, Ken Flippin, Texas chapter of U.S. Green Building Council. I want to say, Representative Verdell, this is an excellent bill. I'm even more impressed by the fact that you openly said it was presented to you by a constituent. I want to say that that's what's great about and how many state reps that we have that do open up their offices to good ideas from their constituents. I want to encourage more reps to do that and talk about it. Secondly, I want to talk specifically about some of the provisions I think are very important. I really like how there's a 50%, and this is section 419A of the bill, and there's A and B. A says 50% if you're rebuilding in the same floodplain, but 100% if you build higher. And this is exactly what the incentives that we think are smart, because they're going to have to rebuild. But instead of telling people like, well, you can't rebuild, we're not going to give you anything if you do it the way you want to do it, but we're going to give you more incentive to do it right so that it's safer. That's the kind of program that will make the most sense. And so I just want to say, we think that this is a well-designed bill, has a lot of good incentives to build safer. And that flood mitigation, again, those techniques do more than just prevent flood mitigation. They improve the water quality, they improve the value of the land. When we are actually feeding those straws that were talked about before, we're feeding those aquifers, we're improving the quality of land for farmers and ranchers as well. So there's a lot of reasons why this is going to help your community. Thank you.
All right. Members, further questions? Okay. We do have one. Who is it? Oh, there it is. All right. Thank you all for being here. Chair calls Ashley Harris. All right, Ashley Harris, we show you are here on behalf of United Ways of Texas, and you're neutral on the bill, is that correct? Is all that correct?
Yes.
Please proceed.
Good morning, members. Ashley Harris, United Ways of Texas, here testifying on House Bill 164. I just want to take the opportunity to, while you're talking about this bill, to share more about ALICE, and those are households that are asset limited, income constrained, and employed. These are our working Texas families who earn above the poverty level but still struggle to cover basic needs. During floods and disasters in particular, our ALICE families are especially vulnerable if relief programs are not accessible and targeted to their needs. So when I saw this bill come up today, I just want to provide some initial thoughts. Representative Verdell, I know I'm going to follow up with your office too, and appreciate you bringing this. Just so some initial thoughts. I think it's important to maybe think about creating a set aside for ALICE households so they don't fall through the cracks. They often don't meet those traditional eligibility criteria for big relief programs like this. Also, I think it's important to place greater weight on income and award prioritization. Also, to provide support for relocation so families aren't forced back into high-risk areas. And lastly, something I'm happy to explore further if of interest and to be a support to the office on is to keep those applications as simple and accessible as possible for those with limited resources, especially for our seniors who may not meet all of the, as the language is right now, meet all of those eligibility criteria. So I think these steps could be important and to ensure that the bill not only helps families rebuild, but also strengthens their long-term resilience after the recovery process. And I think it's important to remember that ALICE growing population actually is seniors. ALICE is our local cashier, our child care provider, our small business owner. We want to ensure that these Texans are also supported in recovery because they do keep our communities running, especially our smaller communities. Representative Verdell, thank you so much for bringing this and appreciate the opportunity to maybe continue working with your office to ensure that we can ensure that all of our Texans who are most vulnerable can be supported by this program.
Thank you for your testimony.
Thank you.
Members, questions of this witness? I see none. All right, where's my book? Okay. That's all the witnesses I have signed up. Is there anyone else wish to testify?
I would, yes. Thank you so much.
Ma'am, before you talk,
May I? No.
please come up and
Okay,
please
I'm
come
so
forward
sorry.
and let us get you on the witness list.
Okay, you're gonna have to register at the kiosk.
Say you need to go out in the hall. It's okay. If you want to testify, you go register and we will talk to each other for a minute.
Remind me the bill number?
HB 164.
Okay, do I just start?
Okay, now we show you're Stephanie Morris.
I am.
You're testifying here today on behalf of yourself, and you're for the bill.
I'm strongly for it, and I'm incredibly grateful for West Purdell for
Please
bringing
proceed.
this bill. I'm Stephanie Morris. Our home in Apiary flooded July 5th. I'm also a nurse. I have been for 25 years. I know about sentinel events when combination of different issues lead to trauma, disasters. And it's not just the event itself that traumatizes people and leaves it long term. I'm sorry.
Ma'am, would you pull your microphone a little closer and speak
Oh.
up a little bit? We're having
Oh.
trouble hearing you.
It's not just the event itself that traumatizes individuals and families, the loss of life, the loss of property, but it is the weeks and months afterwards and attempting to recover on many levels, including financially. Navigate, even if you have home insurance, NFIP flood insurance, which is full of loopholes and a lot of reasons that they're not going to cover, even if you have coverage for contents, which we did. Navigating the NFIP and FEMA systems is incredibly difficult, and as our NFIP adjuster, it's so confusing. Carl said, after one of our volunteers had a stroke after he left our job site, ripping down halls, tearing down walls, tearing out insulation, he had a stroke, and the adjuster said, yeah, this is very common. My clients often die not only during the event, but in the weeks and months after, because navigating the stress of even navigating the recovery and the NFIP and FEMA systems, in addition to organizations claiming that they want to help, and you're inundated with people saying they want to help, but very few either actually have the means to. It's hard to tell what's a scam, what's not. And we tell our stories over and over and over, not trying to. Our flood coverage will not cover the majority of what we have lost.
Yeah, thank you for your testimony.
I just
Members,
thank you.
Questions of this witness? Oh, Mr. Riddell.
Thank you, Chairman King. Thank you, Ms. Morris, for don't feel bad for going to register and testifying. That's
I'm
nothing
sorry.
wrong with that at all. It's all right.
Thank you.
It's a good. Sometimes people need a little quick break too. Did I see that you raise bees also?
Yes, I do.
Okay, my mom's also a bee raiser.
Aw.
So, I appreciate the kind stuff you said. I wish I could take credit for this bill, but this really is a constituent that is watching this. Their house ended up, water came all the way up to their house, and they're watching their neighbors go through this. And one thing, what county are you in again?
Williamson.
Williamson, okay. So, and I know Brennan had mentioned this earlier about possibly it just being Kerr County, and I may need to make a substitute for this, but what I see is it just specifies hill country, the July 2025 hill country floods. And so I could be wrong, but at the moment, what I am looking at and understanding is that this would apply to anyone affected by the 2025 hill country floods. And so I have a note here that maybe we need to designate that a little better of what counties that encapsulates, but I do appreciate you coming up, and thank you. So, yes, ma'am.
Could I say one thing? The families in Sandy Creek, which is actually a finger of Travis County.
Mm-hmm.
At least 10, if not more, individuals' lives were lost there, and many homes. So if it's going to be clarified, please, Williamson and Travis counties.
Yeah, appreciate
Thank you,
that.
sir.
Copy that. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your testimony. Members, further questions of this witness? Seeing none, thank you for being here. All right. Now, is there anyone else who wishes to testify on, for, or against House Bill 164? Seeing none, Chair recognizes Representative Verdell to close.
Thank you, Chairman King. Just for the members up here, if you notice that I have any flaws in the bills, I'd love to know about them and fix them where we can, and I would appreciate that constructive criticism if it's there. And with that, I close. Thank you all very much.
Well, I've just got one comment. The idea of the bill is good. Your constituents obviously are in need and are watching, and we do better work when the public participates.
Yes, sir.
I think. I see a few flaws. The only flaw that I can see is the next hurricane, the next whatever. Where's the money coming from? How do we structure it? And is TDM the right agency to actually administer it?
Yes, sir.
That's my question. So,
I'm glad you brought that up. I had this answer for you already before you
Okay.
asked it. One of the things that, this bill is focused on the hill country, but I think what's valuable is when we put this in the code, and if we have another special session because of a natural disaster with a special committee, a select committee, I think that this code could be amended very easily, where it then shifts over to that natural disaster if that occurred. So, or there is another way to do it too. But
Sure.
I appreciate that,
Sure.
yes, sir.
Well, if you're working on something of a substitute and some other language you're going to clean up, we'll look forward to seeing that.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Chairman. Appreciate
Yes,
it.
sir. Cool. Thanks. All right. So you close.
Oh, with that, I close.
All right. If there's no objection, House Bill 164 will be left pending. Is there objection? Chair hears none. House Bill 164 is left pending. All right. Chair lays out House Bill 123, recognizes Representative Martinez to lay out the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members. This is Dr. Lanali's bill, and he asked for me to lay it out for him. House Bill 123 would prohibit overnight lodging in floodplains, require flotation devices in overnight facilities near waterways. It would also mandate weather alert radios in each overnight facility, a camp-wide warning system that reaches all, integrates with the National Weather Service and local river alerts, works offline, and can be manually triggered. This also requires a written emergency plan covering evacuation, transport, muster points, equipment use, EMS notification, warning system procedures, and active shooter response. This plan must be approved by the local emergency response agency, shared with campers and parents before each session. Weekly head counts reported to the agency, and require at least 3 evacuation drills yearly per session safety drills. Designates an emergency preparedness supervisor with each session to run training, maintain equipment, and ensure compliance. I believe that having a proactive approach is exactly what this bill does. It's about preparation, protection, and prevention, so that tragedies like this shall never happen again in the state of Texas. And we respectfully ask for the support of House Bill 123.
Okay. Members, questions of Representative Martinez? Seeing none, you have a witness. We'll call you back shortly. Chair calls Tyler Robertson. Record shows you're Tyler Robertson. You're testifying on behalf of Camping Association for Mutual Progress and Camp Longhorn, and you're neutral on the bill. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Please proceed.
Good morning, Chairman King and members. My name, once again, is Tyler Robertson. I'm here on behalf of the Camping Association for Mutual Progress on House Bill 123. I also serve as the director for Camp Longhorn C3. We strongly support the overall goals and many provisions of House Bill 123, but we do have some concerns with a few provisions in the bill. Our first concern is the prohibition of cabins located in the definition of floodplain. As we know, there are several different definitions of and distinctions between floodways and floodplains, so we would urge a closer look to ensure the appropriate definition is in place, similar to the provisions that was added to Senate Bill 1 last night. Camps across Texas are as diverse as our geography. Many are located near rivers, creeks, coastal areas, or lakes, and the behaviors of those waters can vary greatly. A measure that may be appropriate for a river does not necessarily translate effectively to a body of water such as a lake. Second, while we agree the weather radios should be required, we think that it would be more appropriate for those radios to be in our cabins of directors, senior staff, and operational buildings. Our concern is having them in the cabins with minors sleeping. We know that this issue was also addressed in SB 1 last night. And lastly, with the disclosure of emergency plans, we just want to ensure this is done in a safe and confidential manner to ensure these plans do not get into the wrong hands. We look forward to continue working with you to craft policies that both honor the memories of those lost and ensure the safety of every child who attends camp in Texas. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Members, or questions of the witness? Seeing none, thank you for being here.
Thank y'all.
Is that it? All right, is there anyone else which to testify on, for, or against House Bill 123? Seeing none, Chair recognizes Representative Martinez to close.
And I close.
If there's no objection, House Bill 123 will be left pending. Is there objection? Chair hears none. House Bill 123 is left pending. Mr. Darby? Which one do you want to do first?
48.
Oops. All right. Chair lays out House Bill 48. Recognizes Chairman Darby to explain.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members, we all have alert fatigue. We currently operate multiple alert systems, including amber, silver, blue, endangered missing persons, a power outage, and active shooters. These systems have saved countless lives, but their frequency and overlap can overwhelm residents. The risk of desensitization, it's Friday, I'm sorry, I apologize, became clear during the July 4th flooding. RAND study shows that nearly 30% of Texas have disabled at least one type of alert. This bill creates a 9-member alert notification system group within TDM, Texas Division of Emergency Management. It began the work no later than December 31, 2025, and they will look to study the effectiveness, coordination, and regulatory framework of Texas statewide alert systems. The study will specifically address the impact of notification fatigue, evaluate compliance with state and federal regulations, and explore ways to streamline and modernize alert operations. The working group may consult with FEMA and other agencies to gather necessary data and expertise. They will conclude their work no later than December 1, 2026, and the act and the working group will expire on January 1, 2027. Ensuring that this is a targeted and time-limited effort to provide actionable solutions for the legislature. With that, members, I'll stand ready for any questions. If not, reserve the opportunity to close.
Members, any questions? Hearing none, we'll reserve your right to close.
Okay.
This time, Chair calls up Dr. Laura Presley, Kelly Rabin, Brock Davis, and Brendan Davis. You could please state your name, who you represent, and your position on the bill for the record.
You want me to go ahead? You want me to start before they?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, Dr.
Yes,
Laura
ma'am.
Presley for the bill.
Hello and welcome.
You can go ahead.
You all can go ahead and just state your name and who you represent.
Hi again. I'm Kelly Raybon, and I am a mother from Houston. My sons, Braden and Brock Davis, were at
And-
Camp La Junta on July 4th.
And Ms. Raybon,
Yes.
we're going to go ahead and let Dr. Presley, since she already started, and then we'll get back with you so we can hear your whole testimony.
Oh, I apologize. I'm
It's
sorry.
okay,
I thought
you're
you were saying
fine.
that she'd started already.
You're-
Oh, I'm so
Yeah.
sorry.
It's okay. Don't worry. You're fine. You're fine. You did the right thing. You're fine. Don't worry
Okay.
about it.
Okay. I'd spoken at the meeting in Kerrville, Representative Darby, and I love the bill. I love it. I think it's brilliant that this study group do what's needed from a very detailed standpoint. And I had handed out, it was very late in the evening, some of you may not have been there, but I handed out a paper from, it was a published paper in 2016 by scientists, weather scientists at NOAA. And they recommend that we have a flood alert level, discrete levels, very similar to like hurricanes and tornadoes. And I just want to plant the seed again. You have that paper, and when this group, they're going to hold hearings and there'll be public testimony on all this, and I will be presenting this to them too. But I think this is a great opportunity for them to evaluate that. We don't need the federal government to make any designations for flooding, flash flooding degrees, and then you have public policy that you define. If it's this level, this is at minimum what these county officials have to do. No choice. It's defined, it's automatic, it's, not to every nth degree, but regard to this level, and then you get past this alert, fatigue, and you give these county officials guidance from you as a public policy. So I just want to reiterate that, and I will continue to work with that. The Lord put this on my heart. I spent hours praying for these children. I know we all did. And I usually don't work on these type of issues in the legislature, but this has been something that I'm very passionate about right now, and it needs to be done right. So bless you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now, Ms. Raybon, and are Brock and Braden going to testify with us today?
Brock would like to say a few words.
Would he? Okay, yes, ma'am.
Maybe. But if I could speak first, I think he may chime in afterward if
Yes,
that's
ma'am.
okay.
By all means.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Kelly Raybon, and I am a mom from Houston. My sons Braden and Brock are here with me today. And they were at Camp La Junta on July 4th, and they are alive not because of an emergency plan, but because of the quick thinking, brave teenage counselors who saved them. I wasn't sure that I would speak again, but yesterday my 7-year-old Brock looked at me after hearing about some of the testimony from earlier this week and said, "Mom, can I please go and tell them what happened?" So that's why I'm here, for my sons and every child who still carries that terror in silence. And that's why I'm here to demand that you pass legislation that can make a true difference, and you pass it fast. There's things that should have been done, as I think we can all agree, a month ago. Ban camps from putting cabins in known flood zones, require real emergency plans that are vetted by professionals, notify parents immediately when something goes wrong, and hold camps accountable when they fail. This isn't just a suggestion. But I also have to speak my truth, because there was official testimony earlier this week that the legislature has heard, and it doesn't match what my children experienced. Like that campers practiced emergency drills on day one. My sons say that that never happened. We heard that there was an overnight security guard. So my question is, how did an entire dining hall start to fall apart without anyone noticing or calling? It was pure chaos at Camp La Junta that night. I still don't know what their emergency plan was, but whatever it was, if it even existed, it failed. And they're just lucky that all the kids are still here to tell a story. The truth is that it was the brave teenage counselors with no direction from leadership who saved my son's life. They are the heroes of this story. And any testimony that does not acknowledge their pure courage and bravery is quite upsetting to each of us. And I'm speaking on behalf of so many who don't have the courage to speak up today, but they will at some point. So again, we're here today to demand real change, and I'll close now and give a few words to my son. The voices that you need to hear are not just from parents, you need to hear from the children who are living with the consequences of what happened that day, the inaction of others, and well, hopefully better action moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Raybon.
Okay, do you want to just say your name? You want to say your name, please?
Yeah.
Okay.
My name is Brock
Great. What's your last name, Brock?
Davis.
Thank you so
Davis.
much for being here.
Do you want to tell them what cabin number you were in?
My cabin number was cabin 6.
And you were at what camp?
La Junta.
And you're here supporting this bill, is that correct? That's how we have you registered. Yes, you're for this?
Is there anything else you would like to say, Brock?
No.
Okay. Braden, would you like to say? Okay. Do you want to say that you're in support of it if you are? Oh, okay. Well, he assures me that he's in support of it.
Well, thank you so much for being here and for you all being brave, and we're glad to see you here. Thank you. Members, do you have any questions for our panel? Representative Johnson.
Kelly, thank you very much for being here. Braden and Brock, thank you for being here. You came up from Houston this morning. Your mom has had a chance to talk to some of us both at the Kerrville hearing. She came up and testified for y'all, but she's also continued to reach out to us ever since then. If either one of you are comfortable answering, it might help us. But I know it's rained a lot in Houston lately. And how do you feel now when you see the rain?
Well, when I see the rain, I mostly think, well, yesterday there was really hard rain and, well, I wouldn't say flooding, but where my dad lived, there was like high waters a little bit, and that kind of freaked me out because I went through something that I probably shouldn't have, but camp that day affected me, and it will probably for the rest of my life.
You were worried about your little brother.
Yes.
Makes you a really good big brother. We really appreciate you coming. Brock, we're so proud of you and so appreciative that you would come. How about when it rains for you back home?
I'm scared.
You get scared? Yeah. Did you get scared before? Yeah. So before the camp experience, you weren't scared of the rain. And so do you know your mom has wanted to make sure that y'all get all the support and help you need? right? Yeah. Well, we're really proud of you both and appreciate you being willing to come to Austin. You represent a lot of little boys and a lot of little girls that need us to do some good work. So thank you both.
Chairman Dorn.
Thank you. Again, Braden and Brock, we very much appreciate you being here. As Representative Johnson said, you're representing, by your presence here today, the voices of other campers, not only at your camp, but other camps along the way and down the river and across various parts of the state, for that matter. And we very much appreciate you being here. Kelly, it's good to see you, and maybe in your words, if not Brock or Braden's, tell us a little bit about the bravery of that counselor and what happened in the immediacy of the moment, even though there may not have been a plan. I'm keenly interested, and I think this committee is, about the immediate response that took place that saved your boys' lives, and I'd like for you to share that if you can.
Of course. Thank you so much. I have spoken to several counselors, not every single one, but those that I've been able to, and parents of counselors as well. Yes, would you like to say something? Okay.
One of the Camp Mystic girls went down the river to our camp.
One of the Camp Mystic girls
ended up at Camp La Junta.
At Camp La
Yes.
Junta.
Mm-hmm. That was scary, huh? Yeah. The boys were, Brock, my understanding, was awoken when the mattresses were wet already. So the water had already risen that high so quickly into their cabins. And so at that point, things were already floating. One that I talked to yesterday said there wasn't even time to grab their own flashlights. And so then they started moving up to the upper bunks. Brock, how did you get to the upper bunk? Do you remember?
I climbed up to the ladder.
Mm-hmm. And then when they determined that that wasn't high enough, there was more water pouring in, then they went all the way up to the rafters. And I mean, I was even looking at a photo this morning, and it's so disturbing when you see the boys on mattresses with what appears to be about, a foot of clearance. Or sitting on the rafters with water about a foot away from them, and their head is about even with a ceiling fan. And there was discussion about, well, maybe we can pull out the ceiling fan and try to get out that way. There was no communication by all accounts that I've heard, and all I can do is represent the voices, because I wasn't there clearly, but tell you what I've heard on behalf of people who can't speak up themselves. They weren't being directed by anyone else, and a true adult. These were kids saving kids.
How old was that counselor?
17.
So we have a 17-year-old in charge of how many campers?
15, and then there were so this as he characterized it as a building, but really it was 3 cabins in one structure. So really, and I don't have the specific numbers, but it could have been about 45 or 50, somewhere between 40 and 50 kids in there.
With one counselor?
No. With probably 2 counselors to each cabin, so maybe 6, would you say, counselors in total? 9. So, the counselors in training too. So maybe, somewhere between 6 and 9.
Now, this was not. I think I have seen videos of a cabin floating down. Was not these boys' cabins, right? That floated.
Well, sort of. So Brock's cabin was the cabin in the background that had water up all the way to the top, and he was in there. The smaller cabin that you saw floating by, those were, they say, staff members, but still they were maybe 20 or less, right? They were counselors.
Okay. And that floated down a couple
And
hundred
it
yards?
hit, yeah, and it hit
And
the
hit
structure
another-
that Brock was in, yeah.
Okay.
Before it, yes, please, go ahead.
So what had happened was that little cabin, or what we call casas for the counselors and other staff, it had hit the structure that Brock was in and had actually knocked one of the walls down. So while they were up in the rafters, one of the walls fell down. And then it floated like 100 yards and then hit a tree, and then they all the staff in there went out, and as soon as they got out, they started trying to get out the other kids in the structure Brock was in.
But I think from your testimony, Kelly, that there was not a plan that was presented to the boys when they began their camping experience that week. Certainly not, there was no plan rehearsed. There was not an evacuation method set, nor was that rehearsed. There was no direction about seeking higher ground or assembly point. There was just nothing either practiced or in place that would have given your boys or other campers directions in time of crisis. Well,
That's, yes, and, yeah, just a calamity of errors across the board as far as I'm concerned.
well, I very much appreciate you boys. Thank you for taking the time to come with your mom and give us the benefit of your experience. It's meaningful. We're listening to you and others. We're going to do everything we can to protect you and people who want to enjoy the experience of camping. It should not be a life or death flip of the coin. It ought to be, we ought to be able to protect you in these situations. So thank you again for taking time. Kelly, thank you for coming.
If I could add one more thing, I also just want to say too, I mean, Brock is wearing his Camp La Junta shirt today, and we have Camp La Junta signs in front of our house still, you know, so it's not like, I want to make that very clear that especially this one, Braden, that was going to be his third summer there. So it's a deep love for that camp.
Yep.
I want to support their love for that. We
Yep.
just have to make it safe.
I think that sentiment is shared by most everyone. See the value in the camping experience. We certainly don't want to take away from that. I've had kids and grandchildren. My kids and my grandchildren have and are continuing to enjoy that experience. We just want to make it safe. It should not be. It should. We as adults should put in place protective measures that will give these campers and their parents assurances that plans have been considered, plans have been adopted, plans are being rehearsed, plans are being executed, and if time of need, they are there available to save lives. That's what this process is about. And thank you for being an important part of that, boys. Thank you, Mr.
Members, any other questions? No? Thank you all very much for being here today. And boys, thank you for your courage. Is there anyone else wishing to testify on for or against House Bill 48? Chair hearing none, recognizes Representative Darby to close.
Thank you, members. Thank you, members, and I close.
Thank you. It's the chair's intent to leave House Bill 48 pending. Is there any objection? Hearing none, House Bill 48 will be left pending. This time, Chair lays out House Bill 66 and recognizes Representative Darby to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members. This bill addresses a critical gap in Texas disaster recovery framework by creating a state-administered program that extends financial assistance not only to political subdivisions, which you've heard from, but also individuals and businesses recovering from governor-declared disasters. This bill creates a disaster relief and prevention matching grant and loan program administered by TDM. The program is funded through a new disaster relief and prevention account in general revenue supported by legislative appropriations, loan repayments, and private donations. The program offers two forms of aid: matching grants and loans. Political subdivisions and businesses in governor-declared disaster areas that qualify for FEMA or SBA assistance may apply for both grants and loans. Individuals may access low-interest loans for up to 10 years for the repair and rebuilding of homes and for mitigation improvements. Eligibility of uses of funds include disaster recovery, remediation, and the construction of infrastructure to prevent or lessen the effects of future disasters. To ensure accountability, all recipients must enter into written agreements with TDM and are subject to audit authority. Members, this strengthens Texas' ability to respond and recover from disasters by providing timely, flexible, and accountable state-level assistance. With that, members, I'll be glad to answer any questions. Reserve the right to close.
Members, any questions? Hearing none, I'll reserve your right to close. This time, Chair calls up Dr. Laura Presley, Kenneth Flippin, and Larry Leinschmidt. Please state your name, who you represent, and your position on the bill for the record. Thank you.
I'm Dr. Laura Presley, representing Texas Disaster Relief Transparency.